The movie starts with a big mystery. Imagine this. A woman runs to a church, leaves her baby girl there, and then disappears. No hints, no messages, nothing. A priest finds the baby and takes care of her, but the woman is nowhere to be found. Jump to today, and the grown-up girl, Ruby, is on a TV show talking about her life. She tells everyone how she was left at the church and then adopted by Carla, who she thinks is the best mom ever. But while she's sharing her story, the crew hears weird whispers. They ignore it at first. The show gets more exciting when the host says they'll use a DNA test to find Ruby's real parents. Then, weird stuff happens. A coffee mug moves by itself, lights go crazy and almost hit Ruby. Everyone thinks these are just accidents until something falls and nearly hits the host. It seems like there are invisible troublemakers around. Then there's a scene in a club where Ruby's playing with her band, and this mysterious guy, Doctor Who, is watching her. We saw him before in the movie. He's really interested in Ruby, especially after he sees something invisible almost make her spill her drink. Doctor Who helps her out and then tells her he's from the Health and Safety Department. He asks if strange things happen to her often, hinting that Ruby might be involved in something much bigger and scarier. After talking to Doctor Who, Ruby wants to find out why all these strange things are happening to her. Ruby's crazy day begins when she and her friends head out. She's down, telling them how she's been screwing up a lot lately, even got fired because of it. She feels like she's cursed with bad luck. They all get in a taxi, and suddenly they're stopped at a red light. Then, this snowman statue starts falling apart because these little critters are messing with it. Just as it seems like the statue will crush their car, Doctor Who saves them by changing the traffic light to green with his device. They drive off just in time, but the statue falls on Doctor Who. Then, he disappears with his teleportation box. The next day, Ruby's walking home from the store, and those annoying creatures tear her grocery bag. She tries to pick everything up, but the eggs are ruined. At home, she tells her mom about her terrible day. But her mom has big news. A new baby is coming home, and it's also Ruby's birthday. Ruby's mom, Carla, who runs an orphanage and treats Ruby like her own, gives Ruby the responsibility for the new baby. But then, Ruby's day gets worse. The TV host calls her, saying they couldn't find Ruby's real parents with the DNA test. She also mentions her bad luck since their interview, like falling off a boat. While telling the story, a Christmas tree falls on her, ending the call. Right after, Ruby hears something from the baby's room. She thinks someone's wishing her a happy birthday. She runs in to find the baby gone. A quick look shows a camera under the bed with a scary photo of one of those creatures. Ruby sees them taking the baby away in a basket, flying up into the sky. She sees a ladder hanging from the sky and starts going up it, really wanting to rescue the baby. Suddenly, Doctor Who appears, interested in why Ruby is climbing so bravely. Ruby tells him what's happening, and Doctor Who quickly decides to climb with her. He says they're after goblins, who have a ship in the sky. Doctor Who warns Ruby that goblins are bad news because they like to take kids, and they might be targeting them next. Ruby gets really worried when the goblins pull them onto the ship and lock them up. While they're scared, Ruby says it's her birthday, and Doctor Who realizes that goblins are really into things like birthdays, because it makes the kids they take even more special to them. Ruby's unlucky day was actually a signal to the goblins. Ruby, feeling both curious and scared, asks Doctor Who how he knows all this. He admits he's just figured it out. Then, Doctor Who and Ruby manage to get free, but their escape tools don't work since there's no metal around. Quickly, they use their brains instead of gadgets and find a rope to escape the goblin's trap. Ruby mentions she was born at 2 o'clock, and Doctor Who realizes that's when the goblins plan to act. They rush through a tunnel, trying to get to the baby in time. With the clock almost at 2 o'clock, they hear a bell knowing they have just 3 minutes left. They're really tense but keep going, hoping to stop the goblins' plan and save the day. So, Ruby and Doctor Who are looking through a hole, watching a room full of goblins. Imagine this. Some goblins are dancing hard on one side, and on the other, a baby girl is moving on a conveyor belt straight to the Goblin King. This guy is huge and looks really mean, and that scares Ruby a lot. Just as the baby is about to be given to the king, Doctor Who and Ruby swing in on a rope. They land on the conveyor belt and stop the baby from being eaten. The goblins are shocked and just stare at them. Doctor Who picks up the baby, which makes the Goblin King really angry. But then, Doctor Who starts dancing to the goblins' music, and even the king starts to enjoy it. They love his dancing. While this is happening, Doctor Who puts on some special gloves and gives another pair to Ruby. With the gloves, they grab the baby and escape by sliding down the rope. The Goblin King is mad, but they get away. Back home, Doctor Who takes his gloves back, saying they're almost out of power. Ruby wants to tell her mom about their wild day, but Doctor Who says it's not a good idea. He's worried the goblins might come for revenge. He tells Ruby to check the electrical stuff in the house because the goblins might try to cause trouble, making it look like an accident. Ruby ends up telling her mom they didn't find her real parents, but Carla, her mom, is happy. She says, "That's great because I don't want to share you with anyone else." Doctor Who adds that he's adopted too. Carla is about to say something about the weird coincidence when Doctor Who stops her. He says talking about coincidences could bring the goblins back, but then Doctor Who himself says coincidence a few times, making you think the goblins could show up again. Right after Doctor Who warns them about the dangers of talking about weird coincidences, their house starts to fall apart. A big crack divides their house into two. Doctor Who quickly checks everything and is relieved to find out that the baby is safe and the goblins have left for good, leaving behind a mess as a goodbye present. But then they find out Ruby is missing, not just from the house, but her mom doesn't remember her, and she's gone from the whole world, like she never existed. This means the goblins went back in time and took Ruby when she was a kid. Doctor Who decides to fix this and uses his teleportation box to go back to the night Ruby was left at the church, which is the same thing we saw at the beginning of the movie. He sees the goblins trying to take Ruby. The doctor tries to climb up to save her, but the stairs break. Just as the Goblin King is about to hurt Ruby, Doctor Who uses his special gloves to make the goblin ship crash into a church pillar, killing the Goblin King. With the Goblin King gone and their ship disappeared, Doctor Who saves Ruby, putting her safely in front of the church and then leaving quietly. He watches from a distance as the church's priest finds Ruby and makes sure she's safe. Back in the present, Doctor Who sees the apartment is still a mess, but is super happy to see Ruby back and okay. He tells her all about his adventure, but then he suddenly remembers the TV host and the danger she's in from a falling Christmas tree. He quickly goes back to his teleportation box to save her from the goblins' trouble. This time, Ruby finds Doctor Who's teleportation cabin. When she opens the door, she's surprised to see it's way bigger on the inside than it looks from the outside. Amazed by how big the cabin is, Ruby realizes Doctor Who has fixed all the problems the goblins caused, bringing peace back to their lives.